Hello, my name is Jeremy Drawl. I'm the founder and CEO of BLOCK512, and welcome to the first edition of the ICO Ambassador. The ICO Ambassador program is designed to bring insights and awareness to the next level of blockchain investors, specifically looking at initial coin offerings or ICOs. With us today, we have an informal Q&A session with Nick O'Hearn, originally from Perth, Australia. Nick is a former PGA Golf Tour pro and author, currently living in Orlando, Florida. We also have Daniel Schwartzkopff, South African entrepreneur, who is the founder and CEO of CRYPTO20. CRYPTO20 is the first crypto index fund currently going through their ICO. With that being said, I'd like to hand it over to Nick and Daniel.
I guess first off, recently I've been hearing more and more about cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and some others. What exactly is cryptocurrency?
So cryptocurrency it's a form of digital currency. Obviously, it's fairly new, as everyone can attest to, just hearing about it fairly recently. But it's essentially where encryption techniques and cryptography are used to verify and issue digital currency units of digital currency, as opposed to them being issued by some sort of central bank. So it's a really cool new idea. It's essentially a decentralized currency that can be used online and without any sort of central point of issuance.
Now, I've been reading a bit about wallets and exchanges. What's the process to go through to buy CRYPTO20, for instance, and what are the best wallets to use?
Right, so there's a number of different methods of acquiring Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the other big cryptocurrencies out there at the moment. And these are the currencies that you'll need to purchase C20. We accept cryptocurrencies as tender. And there are a variety of options. Pretty much every country has a local exchange now, a local cryptocurrency exchange. For example, there's Coinbase, CoinSpot, I believe is an Australian company. There are, on local Bitcoins you can buy from other individuals, kind of like an eBay system. There's Luno in South Africa, most of Europe. There are, dozens of these exchanges, cex.io. You can use a credit card even to purchase these digital currencies. So adoption is increasing pretty rapidly, and there's multiple methods, from traditional bank wire transfers to credit card to purchase these things.
How does someone, I guess that's new, know where to start or how to pick winners?
In the traditional stock market, you might look at something like the S&P 500. And if you look back at the results over the past 40 years, actively managed funds have found it really difficult to pick winners. And this is when they've got billions of dollars of assets, hundreds of analysts, and decades worth of data at their disposal, and they still manage to underperform the market index. Whereas index funds have consistently outperformed actively managed funds since their inception. So in the cryptocurrency market, it's even worse. New coins pop up every day. There's over 1,000 cryptocurrencies available to choose from right now, and just a few years worth of data, and very sparse data at that. So in terms of the best option for picking a winner, it's something like an index fund where you can track, say, the top 20 cryptocurrencies over time, as opposed to having to single out one or two. And this kind of diversifies your exposure to risk and allocates that fund capital across 20 assets that's rebalanced. And that's a very important way to pick cryptocurrencies instead of just choosing one or two, which may be very risky in terms of the technology. They might fall out of favor, etc. A traditional structure like an index fund is probably best.
Obviously, that's how CRYPTO20 fits into this. It's an index fund, right? Although I suppose you'd call it more a crypto index fund. So what are the advantages of the fund? I guess there must be a rebalancing going on, and it's autonomous. Is that correct?
Right. So the advantages of the CRYPTO20 index fund is essentially that we've used data science to determine the hyperparameters in terms of exactly how long the periods are before we rebalance, the number of coins in the index, and the component cap, which we've introduced, a 10% cap on any single cryptocurrency assets so that, a single crypto asset doesn't dominate the index, exposing you to increased risk. So the benefits are that, we're powered by data science. There's no middleman. We're not a platform. We're a finished product and we go direct to the end user. And we're also tokenized, which means that you can sell or trade your shares in CRYPTO20, your tokens, to other people on exchange or liquidate them directly to us. Every token is directly linked to the underlying assets by the smart contract, which is quite a key thing. There's actual backing to these tokens. It's not just based on speculative value.
You guys, or your team, you're data scientists, correct?
Yes. So essentially what data science is finding insights inside a data set. And, there's been many traditional approaches to this. So previously I founded a company, Data Profit. There's about 30 engineers. They work on international clients and machine learning specialists, so data scientists. And basically out of that, we've learned how to interrogate the data, and we started collecting a large data set of cryptocurrency data from beginning of January last year. And that's when we really got into discovering that an index fund was the best option, because all of the predictive methodologies available, deep learning and neural networks, etc., even when trained with all that data, have found it very difficult to predict exactly when a coin will fall in and out of favor, largely because it is still incredibly volatile and the data is still very thin. So hopefully, this situation will improve over time and people will start to be able to make predictions. But many years down the line, once we've developed a full suite of data on each of these coins, and it's not so much a new coin can pop into the top 20 every week. It's not every day that a new company pops into the S&P 500.
I guess that kind of answers my next question, but I guess with there not being much history, so to speak, with this type of cryptocurrency fund, because it's all fairly quite new, were there any models that you came across that are really proving what you're all about? Right.
So in our white paper, we did extensive modeling in terms of determining the number of coins, the component market cap, and the other hyperparameters, so the rebalancing period. So we chose a weekly rebalancing period based on the historical data. That was the best option. It tracks the market effectively, but doing a daily rebalancing would incur too many trading fees. Obviously, if you rebalance something every day and something pops in and out of the top 20 every day, you need to buy and sell off that asset again. But in terms of a weekly rebalancing set, that's not as strenuous on the sort of trading fees, exchange fees, and we still get to track the market quite accurately. And similarly, we followed the same process for determining the number of coins. And in that list, we ended up with 20. And we chose these kind of discrete values in terms of, not saying 19, 16, or 14, or, a 12% component cap. We chose generalizable values, discrete values like that, so that it would carry on in terms of, predicting on future data sets that it wouldn't be overfit to that historical data, so that it's quite generalizable and that it's future-proof in terms of how the fund will operate going forward.
What made you think about doing an initial coin offering versus, say, going to investment groups directly or a big financial firm and sell your idea that way?
So there's a number of benefits in terms of the way we've done it now through an ICO. Is there are none of the traditional legacy banking fees, none of those kind of traditional fees which would have obviously increased the annual fees that we have to pass on to investors. And in terms of the way cryptocurrency works, if we take investment in cryptocurrency and we hold the underlying assets in cryptocurrency, it all works out rather neatly, and we're able to issue this token as opposed to a traditional kind of share. And that has a lot of benefits in and of itself. You can trade it 24 hours a day. It's not just like an ETF, where you get one option per day to sell your stake. And you can also have, the freedom of keeping that yourself or trading it to, whoever you like. And there's also the involvement of the smart contract. So there's no waiting periods, no approvals necessary. You can just liquidate your tokens and receive the value of the underlying assets directly.
Okay, that's very interesting. So smart contracts, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Right, so a smart contract, it's just a new kind of programming methodology where it's a public piece of code that anybody can view and verify. That's on the blockchain, this distributed ledger, decentralized ledger. And so the great thing about it is that I can code this contract, make it public, everybody can read the code and understand, what the code function is. And then once it's public, I can't change it. So it's a piece of code that's kind of immutable and public. So for example, this would be the liquidation function. It's not something that we could change on our end if we wanted to. For example, investors do not need to trust that we won't alter the code in any way. So it's a great new method for facilitating these kind of trustless exchanges.
So what's gone into the preparation for the ICO? Obviously, there's going to be a lot of technical, legal, awareness factors. Is there a particular process you have to go through there?
Right. So quite a lot of preparation goes into something like this. We spent a long time developing, obviously, the back-end code, the trading system. And then the follow-up naturally was, to write the white paper, develop the website, and approach our legal counsel, Daniel Schwartzkopff, which we met through BLOCK512. And, after that, we were discussing various jurisdictions, investigating, Singapore, Switzerland, eventually settled on the Caymans with our legal counsel and our local counsel in the Caymans, OGA. And, we set up our company there, an LLC, and, sort of set out the whole fund process, our terms and conditions, etc. It's quite a lengthy legal process that one has to go through. We partnered up with a US company, Identity Mind, for our KYC and verification checks, just to make sure we're complying with the Know Your Customer anti-money laundering regulation. And then partnered up with another company, the 8760, who are marketing specialists for these kind of blockchain systems, ICOs. And we developed all the marketing material and went to market, and the public response has been pretty great. We've got a awesome community of users so far, over 2,500 backers.
Can you tell us a bit about the Crypto20 ICO pre-sales? I believe that just closed the other day. Any timelines people can expect coming up?
So we've closed out that round over $5 million from over 2,500 backers from around the world. And that ended on the 14th, and our ICO started on Monday and runs until the 30th of November, sorry. And we should be looking forward to that. The fund will start trading shortly afterwards, and should be listed on exchange in January, just shortly after we get a public audit from one of the big four. And we'll release the audit findings to the public, verifying the amount that we've raised, that we're storing the funds securely. And, we'll obviously be initiating, all of our public reporting requirements in terms of, quarterly reports and annual financial statements. The fund looks good to start trading in December, and we'll be listed and ready to trade on January.
Is there a particular goal you're trying to hit with the raise, or is just however much you get?
So with the fund cap is $75 million. We're obviously hoping to see a good amount of that, but our minimum fund cap was $2 million, and we've already surpassed that. So the fund's definitely going ahead. And we're excited to see what community support still has to bring. It seems like, that we're still getting steady, pretty large contributions every day. And there's another 6 weeks to go. So we're excited to see the results.
I guess finally, so where do you go to participate? I mean, how do we get started?
You can check out the Crypto20 website. It's CRYPTO20.com, or you can type out the full word. We've got both of the domains. And there should be an explainer video on the site that gets into exactly, just 2 minutes, tells exactly what we are and what we do. And you'll find a lot of content in terms of frequently asked questions, how to sign up, all the way, for the very beginner, how to acquire Bitcoin or how to set up a wallet. We've got all these how-to guides already set up on our website to make it easy for people that are new to the space.
Daniel, congratulations. Certainly looks like a fantastic idea. You're certainly simplifying things for investors out there in this market. So it's great to talk with you. And hopefully I'll look back and say, hey, I spoke with the founder of the first crypto index fund. Wish you all the success and good luck with Crypto20.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, that was excellent. I really appreciate it, Nick, Daniel. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this first session of the ICO Ambassador. I'd like to encourage you to go to nickohern.com, where you can look at his blogs, his articles, as well as schedule a mentoring session with him. And of course, you can buy his book on Amazon.com. I'd also encourage you to go to crypto20.com, where you can look at the Crypto20 index and the ICO currently underway. Thank you and have a good day, and I look forward to you participating in the next ICO Ambassador program.